Let's be honest for a second. There's a long-standing rumor that men are, well, a bit oblivious. You've heard the jokes. We don't notice when you cut 4 inches off your hair. We don't notice the new $200 throw pillows that look exactly like the old $20 throw pillows. And we definitely don't notice when the vibe in the room shifts by 5 degrees. But here's the secret we don't usually let out of the bag. Men are actually hyper-observant. We're just very, very good at pretending we're not. Welcome back to Brainy Facts. Today, we're diving into the psychology of the male gaze. Not the one you see in movies, but the quiet, analytical one that happens in everyday life. We're breaking down the 7 things men clock about you instantly, but will rarely ever mention out loud. Why do we stay silent? Sometimes it's to avoid an argument. Sometimes it's because we don't want to seem like we're overanalyzing you. And sometimes it's because we're just waiting to see what you'll do next. Stick around until the end, because number 7 is the one thing that can actually make or break a man's long-term attraction to you, and it's probably not what you think. Point 1. The social shift. First up on our list is something we call the social shift. When a man is into you, he isn't just looking at you, he's looking at how you treat the world when you think he's not paying attention. Imagine you're out on a date. You're being charming, you're laughing at his jokes, even the bad ones, thank you for that, and everything is going great. But then, the waiter brings the wrong side dish. Or the Uber driver takes a wrong turn. In that split second, a man is watching your face. He's noticing if your first instinct is patience or if you snap. We notice how you treat people you don't have to be nice to. We see the customer service voice vanish and the Karen emerge. And believe me, we're making a mental note. Why do we pretend not to notice? Because we don't want to be that guy who critiques your personality 5 minutes into dinner. But internally, we're thinking, if she talks to the waiter like that today, is that how she'll talk to me in 3 years when I forget to take the trash out? Your kindness, or lack thereof, to strangers is a massive green or red flag that we're waving in our heads while we calmly sip our water. Point 2. Micro-expressions and the mask. Point number 2. The mask. Society tells us that men aren't emotionally intelligent. But the truth is, most men are experts at reading the micro-expressions on a woman's face. We notice that split second where your smile doesn't reach your eyes. We notice the way your jaw tightens for half a beat when a certain person's name comes up in conversation. We notice when you say, "I'm fine," but your thumb is nervously picking at your cuticle. We see the mask you put on for the world. The reason we pretend not to notice is actually quite simple. We don't want to pressure you. If we ask, "What's wrong?" the moment we see a flicker of sadness, it can feel like an interrogation. So, we play along. We act like we believe the "I'm fine," but make no mistake, we know you're not fine. We're just waiting for you to feel safe enough to take the mask off on your own. We're observing your emotional resilience, and more importantly, we're observing how you handle your own internal weather. Point 3. The architecture of the effortless look. Let's talk about something a bit lighter. Point number 3. The effort behind the effortless look. There's a common trope that men are easily fooled by natural beauty. You know the one, the "I woke up like this" look that actually took 3 different serums, a blow dryer, and a very specific shade of concealer. Ladies, we know, we really do. We notice when your no makeup took longer than the glam look. We notice that your messy bun is actually a masterpiece of structural engineering held together by sheer willpower and 14 bobby pins. We might not know the difference between contour and bronzer. To us, it's all just face paint. But we notice the precision. The reason we pretend not to notice the effort is because we know it's for us, or at least for the occasion. We don't want to ruin the magic by pointing out the magician's tricks. We notice the effort because it shows you care about the time we're spending together. It's flattering. We'll tell you, "You look great naturally," because we want you to feel confident, but we definitely clocked the 45 minutes you spend in the bathroom. And honestly, we appreciate the view. Point 4. Your relationship with yourself. This one is a bit deeper. Point number 4. Men notice how you talk to yourself. This is something we rarely talk about, but we're constantly listening for it. We notice when you catch your reflection in a shop window. Do you smile and stand taller? Or do you immediately start adjusting your clothes and frowning? We notice how you react to a compliment. If he says, "You look incredible in that dress," and you immediately reply with, "Oh, this? It's old and it makes my arms look weird." We notice that. We're observing your self-esteem in real time. A man might pretend not to notice your insecurities because he doesn't want to make you feel self-conscious, but he's gauging how much emotional lifting he'll need to do in the relationship. If you don't believe you're beautiful, no amount of him saying it will fix it, and we can sense that struggle from a mile away. We see the way you treat yourself, and it sets the blueprint for how we think we're allowed to treat you. Point 5. The digital footprint and phone habits. Now let's get into something a little more modern. Point number 5. Your relationship with that glowing rectangle in your hand. In the digital age, a woman's phone habits tell a man more than a 3-hour interview ever could. And trust me, we are paying attention. We notice if, the moment there's a lull in the conversation, your hand instinctively reaches for your phone. We notice if you keep it face down on the table or if you're constantly checking notifications while we're mid-sentence. It's not that we're being possessive or nosy, it's that we're measuring your ability to be present. If we're out at a nice dinner and you spend 10 minutes getting the perfect lighting for a photo of your pasta, we're sitting there thinking, I hope that linguine is worth the cold shoulder I'm getting right now. We pretend not to notice because we don't want to seem needy or controlling. We don't want to say, hey, put the phone away and look at me. So instead, we just watch. We're observing whether you're addicted to the hits of dopamine from social media or if you actually value the real-world connection happening right in front of you. If you can put the phone away and forget it exists for 2 hours, that's a massive signal of high value that we definitely lock into our memory banks. Point 6. The small stress pivot. Point number 6 is what I like to call the small stress pivot. Life isn't always sunsets and roses. Sometimes the GPS fails, it starts pouring rain when you're wearing suede, or the restaurant loses your reservation. These are the micro crises of daily life. And while you're reacting to the situation, we are reacting to you. Men are wired to be problem solvers, but we're also observers of temperament. We notice how long it takes you to pivot from being frustrated to being okay again. Do you let a minor inconvenience ruin the entire evening? Do you look for someone to blame? Or do you laugh it off and say, well, I guess we're getting pizza instead? Why do we pretend not to notice your mini meltdown? Because we've all been there. We want to give you the space to vent. But internally, we're running a simulation of the future. We're thinking, if a cold appetizer causes a 20-minute spiral, how are we going to handle a mortgage, a screaming toddler, or a flat tire in the middle of nowhere? Your ability to handle small stresses with grace is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can have. And even if we don't compliment your resilience over a salad, we are absolutely admiring it. Point 7. The genuine interest spark. Finally, we've reached number 7. This is the big one I promised you. It's the genuine interest spark. Men are very used to polite listening. We know when someone is just waiting for their turn to speak or nodding along while thinking about what they're going to watch on Netflix later. We've grown accustomed to people being bored by our passions, whether it's our career goals, a niche hobby, or even just a story about our day. But when a woman is actually genuinely interested, we notice it instantly. We notice when your eyes brighten because you've actually followed the thread of a complex story. We notice when you ask a follow-up question about something we mentioned 3 weeks ago. That spark of recognition, the feeling that you are truly seeing the person behind the man, is like a drug to us. We pretend not to notice how much it means to us because, frankly, men are taught to be stoic. We don't want to admit that a simple, hey, how did that meeting go that you were worried about, makes us feel like we're the only guy in the world. But it does. We notice that you cared enough to remember. And in a world of superficial swipes, that is the ultimate brainy fact of attraction. So why do we keep all this to ourselves? Why the charade? It's because men, just like women, want to see the raw version of a person. We don't want you to change these things because you know we're watching. We want to see who you are when you think the cameras are off. We notice your kindness, your insecurities, your resilience, and your effort because we're trying to build a map of who you really are. We aren't looking for perfection. We're looking for authenticity. We see the little things you think you're hiding, and more often than not, those little things are exactly why we fell for you in the first place. If you found these insights helpful, do us a favor and hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. And if you've ever caught a man noticing something you thought was a secret, tell us the story in the comments below. I read as many as I can, and I'd love to hear your perspective.